to the Simply Talking podcast, where we keep it real and raw, diving deep into the stories that matter. Whether it's the hustle, the grind, or just living life in the fast lane, we're here to vibe with you. So if you're ready to get inspired and have some fun, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video coming
No
up
bigger
right now.
bastard baby maker in the world than white men. White men are the greatest creators of single biracial bastards. Nobody creates more biracial bastards than white men. Period. Like it ain't even close. Y'all go around the world just creating biracial bastards, just leaving them motherfuckers. You know how many gooks is over in the white rice paddies now with white daddies? Growing up confused as shit. That's why y'all got so many half-breed activists. They're fighting for their father's attention. If their father was there, they wouldn't become activists. Have y'all noticed that? When these half-breeds have their white fathers in their lives, they're not activists. Why is that? They got their daddy's love. They don't need to fight. Fuck am I fighting for? The topic is a simple one. It says, do statistics prove that black women are the most sexual irresponsible of all women? It's 52% of black women with herpes. Of every STD there is to have, black women lead in that statistic. Are you telling me that that would not show that they are sexually irresponsible? If you're having a bunch of kids out of wedlock and you are the controller of who sleeps with you and what things you can take, and you still have children while you're poor without a husband, that makes you irresponsible. If you keep getting these STDs larger than any other group, that shows you're irresponsible. But let me tell you a thing that many of you guys may not pay attention to that definitely shows that black women are more irresponsible sexually than any other group, other than those stats, because those are real stats that would prove it. Here's one. Check the stats on this. 68% of all children tested by of a person by a black woman, it finds out that that child is not theirs. 68% of all people who go get tested. Now, maybe you could turn around and say, well, if you're having to go get tested, you probably already knew she was cheating anyway. We could add that in there. I don't mind. I'll be fair with the statistics. If you were going to get it, you probably already felt she was cheating anyway, which means you probably were right. But 56% of black women who have more than 2 children, the second child is by another man. 56% of black women who have more than 1 child, the second is by another man. 56%. %76% of children are born out of wedlock in the black community. For the only one who has to deal with the majority of the consequences of having said child, especially having them by black men who apparently don't want to stick around, especially having them by a man that's not your husband, especially having them when you can't even afford to pay for a plan B, is not a good idea. Which means you should tell a man to wear a condom, but you don't. Which means you should get the birth control, which is free, but you refuse. Which means you're what? Irresponsible. If other people are having to be responsible for the children you made, that would make you irresponsible. True or false? By the letter of the law. That's what that would make. If other people have to take care of what you created, your responsibility is being subsidized, then you are irresponsible by logic.
but the numbers are still true. And even like, I get that she's a nurse practitioner and things of that nature, but even in my line of work, I see the vast majority of women that lay
That's true.
across my table getting ready to get an autopsy and are riddled with STDs and have
Mm.
spreaded it and have not done anything to protect it. So, and these are young women. So you got to think about all the men that they were sleeping with, that they passed it
Mm.
to. So like the man, so like Saint was saying, these men wouldn't get these diseases if these women didn't say yes. They're treating most of the black females that come in there. They come in there and they found out two things: you're pregnant and you're carrying one or three sexually transmitted diseases.
Damn.
And so because generally a lot of young, especially black females, they're carrying chlamydia. So then because they already have
Shit.
chlamydia and it has already found its way to their organs and stuff, it's easier for them to get other ones. Gonorrhea, which is known as like clap, which is one of the major black transmitted diseases in the world and still is,
Very true.
it lies dormant inside of black females since high school. So they start sleeping with people at
Jeez.
13. And you got to think that they're carrying chlamydia and gonorrhea on up to high school and when they get out, because they're not going to see gynecologists. So by the time they get pregnant, not only do they find out that they're pregnant, but they usually find out that they have 1 to 3 STDs and they have been
Jeez.
carrying them for years.
Hey, Golden, could I jump in just real quick and just
Yeah.
anecdotally, just to support something you're saying? So, when I was in the Army, before I was doing intel, I was a 68 whiskey, which is a combat medic. And whenever we had an instance in our units where we had what we would jokingly call an STD outbreak, what we found was, especially in co-ed units, um, is that you would have several females spreading STDs, and when you do what's called tracking, they're sleeping with a very few amount of men in the unit. So when you look across the board, and generally speaking, with even within the African American community, I would argue what's happening is you have a few amount of black men sleeping with the vast majority of these black women, and that's how the spread is happening. It happened every single time. So I agree 100% Golden and Sassy. I think that what he's saying, just really quick, is the programming being, and Tommy has said this, we've all talked about this, the programming being pumped into the black community is to seek out Pookie and Ray Ray as the primary mate. And
Mm-hmm.
Carlton is rejected outright. Carlton's not running around with STDs. Sorry. Just I'll exercise some brevity here. I think the point is that the archetype male sold to the black community, to our people, quote, is the to use the analogy that Napoleon was using, is Will Smith, the guy from the street, the guy from the hood, the guy who's ghetto. That's the model for what men should be. But what we're not told is that's the model of man that comes with all the problems. He's been to prison, he sells drugs, he has STDs. Carlton is lambasted. And if you want to take it a step further, if you remember Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Carlton was only respected as a quote real black man when he started acting quote blackish. He started getting attitudinal. He would act more like Will Smith or Jazz.
Saw the
That's
golden
when they
black woman.
respected him. Other than that, he was rejected outright as quote a white boy.
Do I look at the stats as much as I look at my life experiences? And I'm just being honest. This is my life experience, right? Out of all the chicks, whether it's military, back here in Chicago, Wells, black women were the only ones that never required me to wear a condom. Even though I had one with me, they never required it. I remember when I had a Hispanic chick in California when I was stationed in California. She would not let me hit. I'm talking about would not let me hit at all without a condom. Nothing. Go get a condom. And she was in college at the time. She was in college at the time, and it's sad to say that as many women that I've seen or talked to or had a conversation with, and they say, I don't know how I got here. I know how you got here. You didn't make him wear a condom. You didn't say, hey, at least I want to wait till we're married. I think the biggest problems in our community is the fact that the title of baby mama is measured as a status that's like being a girlfriend
Yep.
or in a sense a wife, and that's a huge problem. Being a baby mama is not a good title. It's just not.
And they'll
Saying
brag
that
on
you're
it. They will
someone's
they will
wife.
introduce themselves as so and so's baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
And you right about that, the condom thing. Like, imagine not only knowing your girl cheat on you, but everybody she cheat on you with gets the fuck raw too.
Gets the fuck raw too, right?
Wow, that's a
and
wrap for today's episode of the Simply Talking podcast. We hope you enjoyed the ride and soaked up some real talk. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep the vibes going. Stay tuned for more dope conversations, and remember, keep it real out there. Until next time, peace.